Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Batwoman Season 2 review series, and today I am going to be talking about Episode 2, Prior Criminal History, which I have just finished watching, and I can honestly say that this episode was a nice good follow-up to the Season 2 premiere, and there were a tiny little bit of clunkers in certain little parts of the dialogue, but overall this was a really good fun episode, and there even was a couple of nice little callbacks to Batman Begins, which I am going to get into momentarily. And I thought Javicia Leslie did an excellent job once again as Ryan Wilder / Batwoman, and I thought her performance this time round was a lot more stronger than Episode 1, which I'm going to be getting into momentarily. So we are going to be talking about Episode 2, Prior Criminal History, and we start this episode off where we see Alice is in the tunnels and sticks a bunch of bats on Mouse's dead corpse. As we all remember, Mouse was poisoned by Alice at the end of Season 1, and she uses these bats to basically draw out the toxin that murdered Mouse, as we saw at the end of Season 1. And then we are then treated to a flashback set 2 months prior to Season 2, where we see Ryan Wilder is robbed by the Wonderland gang while coming home from trick-or-treating for Halloween, and we see Kate Kane's Batwoman show up and fights the Wonderland gang off. Now bear in mind that I couldn't really see properly whether or not this was actually Ruby Rose. Maybe it was a stunt double, but whoever it was did an excellent job doing the combat style fighting of the original Batwoman. So we then see in the present day, Ryan stops a robbery at a supermarket, but the Crows arrive and believe she caused it, and they arrest her. She's then interrogated by Sophie, and they both have a familiarity with each other after Ryan has been arrested by the Crows several times before. Ryan is then let go, but not before pointing out how the Crows have given Alice way too many free passes, something that Sophie is caught off guard by. Ryan then goes to Mary and asks her to confirm that Alice is really Beth Kane, and then the two of them start to bond over the fact that both of their mothers were killed by Alice. Now, I thought this scene with Mary and Ryan was really good because it's almost like Mary kind of feels sorry for Ryan because both of them have had so much taken away from them by a common enemy. So it's nice in this episode they've actually got to strike up a nice little bond. So I'm hoping we're going to see more of that grow over the course of Season 2. We then see Jacob is still distraught about how things ended with Kate. Jacob and Sophie interrogate both Mary and Luke respectively. Both of them deny knowing that Kate was Batwoman. Sophie also is upset with Julia for hiding that Kate was Batwoman. Yes everyone, Julia Pennyworth is back, and thankfully she did not say love again, because as I said at the last edition of this series, if she started saying love again, I will seriously jump out the window. Anyway, moving on. We then see Alice brandishes a knife at Julia and suggests that they team up to get revenge on Sapphire for allegedly crashing Kate's plane. Julia refuses and Alice stabs her in the ribs. Ouch. Later, Jacob reveals to Mary that he believes Kate is still alive, and they decide to work together to try and find her. At the same time, Julia tells Sophie that she was able to track down Alice's location. She then asks Sophie why they broke up. Was it because of a lack of trust, or was it because Sophie still has feeling for Kate? Sophie says it's because of both. Oh, awkward. So after that, we see Gotham City holds a pro-Batwoman rally, hopefully to draw Batwoman back to the citizens of Gotham by making her return. Luke worries that Alice is going to target all of these ralliers. Ryan suggests that she put the suit back on and appear at the rally. This kind of reminded me of an episode from Batman the Animated Series where Jim Gordon was framed and Barbara Gordon asked Batman to make an appearance at the rally to showcase Jim Gordon's innocence, but we all know what happened there. So that little scene kind of reminded me of that. We then see Luke reluctantly agrees. Ryan purchases from the top of a skyscraper and tries to tell the crowd to disperse, but they don't listen. We then see Alice show up on the top of the skyscraper and confronts Ryan. Alice is quick to point out that she is not the real Batwoman and she's nothing more than a silly little girl wearing the original Batwoman's hand-me-downs. We then see the two of them fight each other, culminating in Alice using a transmitter to release a horde of poisoned bats on the crowd. Now, all these little swarm of bats terrorising Gotham reminded me very similar to two Batman movies, Batman Returns and Batman Begins, although both were completely different executions, but just seeing all of the bats swarming around Gotham reminded me of those little Batman films, so that was a nice callback to them. Ryan finds the transmitter and uses the Batmobile to draw the bats out of the city. She commandeers a crow's bus and uses it to draw the bats inside and proceeds to blow it up. Nice little bit of improvising there. Ryan saves a homeless girl from the blast and the girl addresses her as Batwoman. As Mary tries to save the protesters who have been bitten, Alice arrives and gives her a bag of blood which contains the Desert Rose antidote, little callback from season 1. She frantically takes it to Hamilton Dynamics where they synthesize a serum for the antidote. Well, wonder why Alice would do that. What's her end game? What's her motivation? We then see Ryan brings the Batsuit back to the Batcave and asks Luke and Mary if she continues being Batwoman. Mary straight away agrees that she should. Luke agrees that you can be Batwoman as long as Kate is back, as long as Ryan promises not to kill anyone. Ryan finds Kate's journal and reads an entry from Halloween, which was the nights that Kate saved Ryan. In it, Kate says that Ryan represents the hope that Gotham needs. Ryan begins penning a new entry to Kate. And then the last shot we see of this episode is we see Sophie apprehends Alice but is stopped by the Whisperer, an assassin hired by Sapphire, who is brandishing a katana sword. And it looks like we're getting our first hint at who one of the main villains for Season 2 is going to be. We then see the Whisperer tells Alice that using the Desert Rose to save Gotham has brought out Sapphire, and Alice says that was her intention all along. And we then see that she knocks out Sophie and Alice, and that pretty much wraps up episode 2. Overall, excellent episode. Nice follow-up to episode 1. I can see Javicia Leslie was probably a little bit better in this episode because it is the first episode, which we saw in episode 1, so she's still trying to find her feet, but I thought this one was a lot better, and we're off to the races, as I said last time. Good solid episode, and it was cool that this episode delved into more of Ryan Wilder's backstory, and it was nice to see a quick flashback of her run-in with the original Batwoman, so this doesn't just feel like some random thing where a fangirl puts on the suit trying to emulate her idol. You know, this all happened for a reason. This helped inspire Ryan Wilder to be a better person, so I really enjoyed that side of this episode a lot, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the show delve more and more into her backstory as we go along into season 2, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the rest of season 2 is going to unfold. So I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 2 of Batwoman? Did you enjoy it? What was your thoughts on Javicia Leslie's performance in this episode as Ryan Wilder? Do you think she will get better as the season goes along? And do you accept her as the new Batwoman, or is it too early to say? And what did you think of the fights between the new Batwoman and Alice? Did you enjoy it? Do you think we might see more of these two go at it? And if so, would you like to see more of them go at it? And if so, did you think Ryan Wilder may have been in over her head a little bit in terms of trying to kill Alice after everything that she's done to her in the past? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back next time for another edition of the Batwoman Season 2 review series, where I'll be talking about episode 3. So until next time, take care everybody, and stay safe.